This is the ScreenBlast Podcast. This, of course, is our October catch-up, wrap-up, whatever you want to call it.
It's over already?
It's over already. It's long since over. But this, of course, is slightly new. We're doing a thing here where we're just catching up on anything that we'd seen over the month of October that we wanted to give you guys sort of briefer, smaller reviews on. These are going to be bite-sized, not a full-length pod like the ones that we usually used to do in the past. So, yeah, October catch-up. Of course, I'm joined alongside to my left on camera, on this camera, it's K9 Biscuits, and of course, the guy that was just using a farting car, it's the Sir himself. So, and of course, you can find me at Brian the Baltimorean and ScreenBlast Podcast. I knew you were going to do that. So, Mark, we're going to run through, obviously, these things. I kind of categorize them by first set animation, next set drama, followed by some psychological thrillers or scary movies, and then going into the backlog. So,
you could just categorize all of them under gay.
But that's not October. October's spooky. If we're going to do gay, that's like June or July, isn't it? What's the month? What month is that?
Your fucking birthday.
Oh my god. First things first. It's not going to be first things first. But we are going to do...
categorize all of them under suck.
By the way, before we go any further, make sure to find this and more over at screenblastpodcast.com. All right, let's start with animation. First thing we're going to get into is Tales of the TMNT.
Someone should go check it out.
Not it! What?
Don't miss Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the epic 12-episode event, streaming August 9th, only on Paramount+.
To kind of talk more about it. I do like the film that this was built off of, and I'm still playing the game that follows the film. But guys, tell me about Tales of the TMNT here.
It's really used the name Tales, because they already used it before.
Yeah.
They do use a lot of names they've done before. Like Mutant Mayhem was also used by TMNT first for a DVD set. It was like a DVD set for 2012 TMNT Mutant Mayhem, and of course there's just TMNT,
right,
that they use multiple times.
Yeah, but this series though, obviously again Paramount Plus exclusive. I don't even know if it gets a Nick release, but it says Nickelodeon logo there, so I guess.
Well, because they're a Nickelodeon IP.
Yeah.
Like you'll always see SpongeBob with Nickelodeon above it. It's like how Disney does their thing. Like Disney's this.
Yes. But yeah, tell me about this series. Have you guys seen all the way through parts of it? What do you think?
I've seen all the way through.
As did I.
Okay.
I was excited because this was like when I love Mutant Mayhem. I was hoping it would get like a series at some point. I thought we had to wait till after the first sequel, but no, we got one immediately. And like it's instead of 3D because that I'm pretty sure that 3D animation takes a lot of time and it's
all
expensive.
The layering, yeah.
So that film was in 2D. When I first saw the trailers for the 2D animation, I was like, doesn't hit as home as the 3D movies, but like.
Yeah.
It's fine enough. Personally, my favorite I know it's not the best show, but my favorite incarnation of the Turtles, and my personal favorite Turtles, is the Rise to TMNT. I love that show, all the way through, and I think that art style is I love that art style a lot. I think this almost tries to come close, but not really. It's weird. I guess it's trying to trend its own thing because it's not like the other Turtle shows, but I guess it's trying to be like the movie, but the movie shines by having that weird art style, by having a weird 2D art style in 3D, and it's just kind of just 2D.
And Mark, what about you?
I did not like it. I didn't like it at all. It's like
that reminds me of the Horse from Rennes to me. No, sir, I don't like it.
What you said about the aesthetic in the original movie,
the blended, where the layered format that they
show
inspired by Spider-Man.
Because what I like about the 3D, the art style of the 3D movie is these are definitely 2D designs that they made to fit in a 3D space, and you don't see the ugliness of it because of camera angles and stuff. Spider-Verse does that. I think if you if you've seen the most recent trailer to Dogman does it.
Oh, it does it brilliantly. Man.
Yeah.
Holy cow, they did a great job. I think it's gonna.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think the new Fairly Odd Parents show does that too.
Yeah. By the way, the game for Mutant Mayhem for this franchise of Turtles, they do a solid job on the newer consoles. The Switch definitely chugs a bit, looks a little worse, but that's gonna happen.
Or that game was mediocre.
Hmm?
Or that game was mediocre.
It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think it's for what it is. Again, if you're looking for like Ghost of Tsushima, it's not that, but it's doing a lot.
I'm looking for a good TMNT beat 'em up.
Get it when it's half off in the holiday season. That's when it's.
I'll play on yours. I'll see how it is and give my review of it because like
if you try the roguelike that came out right before it.
The other one, yeah. Oh yeah, that one got high scores, but that wasn't my thing. I don't like those, but yeah.
I like TMNT. I like TMNT games in general.
But the show itself.
I think it was too much of a good thing. Like during the movie, you had a short time with all the characters, but as you get to know them, it gets a little annoying to a point where a lot of the other mutants besides the Turtles were waning on me. Except even the characters are meant to be funny. After a while, it just stopped. Also, the whole premise of them having their own stories is unnecessary since the past series have done the same thing. Just didn't put so much emphasis on it.
Like the separation thing.
Yes. 2012, 2006, Rise, they all had their own episodes where they were by themselves for exploring and doing their own little thing.
Okay.
You guys say?
I personally like the show. The reason what you said you have a problem with them having their own stories. The reason I didn't have a problem with that is because they like they said, they already done this in the past shows, but they're kind of doing it in their own way.
Oh no, it's not that I have a problem with it. I just think it's so much emphasis on having their own stories. It's like this is the backbone of what the show's going to be about. This is the big new thing that's happening. Like no, they've done this. They've done the show before in several series.
Yeah, but this is like their main focus. So like this is kind of how they're handling this iteration, because they have so many iterations. They can they're always going to try to give something that trying to find their own gimmick. Even if it's a gimmick they've done before, they're going to try to find it in do it in a different way, and it's kind of their own interpretation. So for this series is 12 episodes, and I think it's 6 episodes are their own story. So it's you get 2 sets of story in this first season. The first set is about this lady who makes these robots that only goes after mutants, and the boys they split up. They get split up, and each episode is their own story, and then the final episode is they're all coming together to fight together, kind of almost expanding universe Avengers style. And the second story does that too, but you get the other mutants with the exception of Bebop and Rocksteady because I guess those voice actors are more expensive. Seth Rogen. Speaking of voice actors, it seemed I think the original cast returns. What I hate so much is I love the character of Splinter in every iteration because he's supposed to be the father and mentor. It's probably because they can't get Jackie Chan. Splinter doesn't have a real voice. Sound alike either. Yeah. Their plot thing is he speaks vermin, so when he's talking and they have to translate it.
Wait, so he doesn't have any actual
No, in
dialogue?
the second season,
the second part.
Raphael starts to voice his voice.
In the second
But he doesn't have actual dialogue.
No, they both have dialogue. It's just that
I can explain this. I can explain this because by the way, it's all one season. It's just 2 different stories.
2 separate.
Yeah, you can just say the first story and the second story because the first 6 episodes are its own story. The next 6 episodes are another story.
Okay.
In the first story set, Splinter he just speaks vermin and they just translate for him. And I guess the reason he's speaking vermin is for his is so he can communicate with his love interest better. They give it some kind of story reason. But I don't like that because you're taking away a character and it's just at least I know you can't afford Jackie Chan all the time, but like get a sound-alike. Get the guy from freaking Jackie Chan Adventures if he's still alive. Like, or just get somebody to voice him. Anybody. I want him to have a voice. He's a character.
By the way, not to cut you off, what's interesting again in the video game that again came out same year here is that has been like you get not Jackie Chan's voice, but someone is voicing him that sounds like him. So it's weird that they did that for the game, but not for the show.
I guess because like they're
time constraints.
No, I mean,
no. I don't think it's not. Well, it's not time constraints. I think it's just like they care. It's more that probably is canon, and they care more for the continuity of the show because it's a video game. It doesn't have to be canon.
That's true. Well, it follows immediately following the. It's meant to
but it's not
complement as a follow up to the film, and they're going on.
Is it before the film, after the series?
They don't mention if it's after the series.
Yeah,
I mean after the film, before the series.
I think it's supposed to nestle between.
A lot of games do this because
everything that happened, like everything, we get a lead in the game where everything that happens post movie is what leads to what's happening in the game. So.
My favorite Incredibles movie is Rise of the Underminer for the Xbox.
The correct.
It's very canon, but
correct,
okay.
yeah.
It's video games do follow after certain stories, but they're not usually canon. They're not
Fair.
always canon. So.
Fair. By the way,
it's just trying to have a story basis.
Last thing about voice acting, because again, like they have the cast from the movies because they're all teenagers at the time when they first voiced them. I do like that you're starting to notice some of those characters definitely sound like they're older because the voice.
Same thing as
actors
this
are
one
older.
too.
It's great. Like I love the fact that again they're progressing voice-wise because you're gonna have those voices sound different as they age up.
You better hope they don't take too long between like animating all the content they want for this franchise because they're aging.
They should show that's why they need to show differences eventually in these characters, like design-wise. But I don't think they're gonna do that. The way that it seems like they want them to stay in these character profiles and not grow. This is not a story.
And if they replace them, it's going to defeat the purpose. They can't
because you already cut off the series that you were talking about earlier, the one that you love, your favorite TMNT series. Like you cut that out.
It's the shortest series too.
Yeah.
Holy series lasts so much longer. I love the Rise. God damn it.
Yeah. So you can't do that again, and so either they're going to do something like Ben 10, where you have these characters with their voices at a certain age, and then Ben 10 Elite Force comes around, and you see these characters look a little bulkier, look a little older. Their voices are obviously more mature, so you fit that with the character designs, and then by the second movie, you get characters that do look a little more mature, just like the series. So that's where you probably should go, unless you're Paramount and you make stupid decisions. I don't know what they're going to do. But any final thoughts on this before we go any further?
I hate that they don't give Spinner a voice, but overall story, I think these are like some decent stories. In terms of like where I place in terms of all the incarnations, this is sort of like my least favorite, but only above the 80s. It's just the 80s Turtles is the one I like the least in terms of all these incarnations. In terms of all the shows, not all incarnations in total. In terms of the TV shows,
animated shows, the animated series.
Yeah, in terms of TV shows, because I never saw the fucking 2007 movie, and I don't care to. But in terms of TV shows, this is like animated TV shows. Fuck, I gotta be specific again. But like this is like my
only TV shows broadcast at 8 a.m. as a Saturday morning cartoon.
Because there's a live action TV show I never seen, but it looks like shit. So fuck that.
Right.
But like this is my this is my least favorite of the animated TV shows, only above the 80s one because I don't really like the 80s one that much.
And you would put, because Martin and me were talking about this earlier, you would put 2012 right around Rise, right?
Oh yeah. Like I love Rise, so Rise is my number one. 2012 is like right under that. Right under that is 2003, and then this show can go there, and then under that it's 80s.
Martin, final thoughts on this series, Tales?
Like I said, it didn't capture me. I thought it was boring. There were the later episodes, like the later episodes of each arc was like the most interesting to me, and I guess it's because it's the lead up to everything that happened. But before that, I wasn't vibing with it. The fact that they're not even ninjas is also a big thing.
That is Oh, I guess not. Right.
Yeah, it's just a weird because that's also a thing with the movie too, because because Splinter isn't like a
They're
really
teenagers.
no, like well,
They're not ninjas.
yeah, that's the thing in the movie itself, because Splinter is not like a martial arts master. He learned all the shit from video.
Another show that I'm not really fond of. They have moments when they are being ninja, and like in 2012 is like peak ninja for me. That is just the best incarnation of the ninja part in the Ninja Turtles.
I feel you.
So yeah, this is on the low. They don't like he said with the original.
Okay.
It's like I don't hate the original or anything. It's just where it began. So.
All right. Tells the TMNT.
It's really weird and campy. I think you should give the show a watch. I do like it. I think the action of the show can be fun. I really enjoyed the last episode. I think the last episode
it was literally. Oh shoot! I'm not even gonna argue on that one. It was the best.
Okay. That's the best way to act.
It was
but the only
very well animated action. I love that episode.
That episode was them getting their asses handed to them. They did win in the end, but they were getting their asses handed to them.
But this is
which is a really cool fight, though. It's a really cool fight.
I don't really mind it because again, this is a different incarnation, and again, they're just starting out too. And I assume throughout as the series keep going, they're going to get better and better as they progress to each character.
That's what I hope. That's what I hope when everything I'm hearing again, it leads to the idea that when you get to whether it's the next season or whatever leads up to a second film, obviously, you get these more experienced Ninja Turtles that are actually doing, like you said, getting closer to that where they are learning, whether that's YouTube, whatever antagonist is going to be in that feature, something that is going to bring about the fact that they are more stealthy, they're doing things in that format, they're doing things more physically that are leaning toward the way that TMNT is known.
Yeah.
So
again, I do like this show and I do recommend it. I think one of my favorite parts, I'm not going to spoil it, but they do add a pigeon character where like he's funny looking in the first story set. In the second story set, they do something funny with that character too. Really funny with that character.
Cool.
But yeah, I recommend this.
Tales of the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
That's the anime. that's the OVA, you dumbass.
Quiet on the set.
Hey, Pharrell.
Hey, how you doing, man? You know, it'd be cool is if we told my story with Lego pieces.
Seriously?
Yes.
Lego.
Just be open.
Piece by piece. Piece by piece.
So, Mark, this is one that... Go ahead and take over on this one.
Alright, well, like, when I first saw the trailer to this, I was like, ooh, new Lego movie. And what's interesting, like, it's a biopic. I'm not into, like, regular pop music. The only music I listen to is, like, anything that from video games or movie soundtracks, because that's the music I get attached to the most. Because I like music. I like music and Daydream, too. And, you know, act for, like, you know, radio songs. I do know of them because, you know, I have friends and family that plays them over the radio or the MP3 or on loudspeakers or whatever, so that's how I know of these songs. And, you know, of course, you know, movie needle drops. Like I said, movie soundtracks. But, like, I don't keep up with any type of artist. I don't have a favorite artist because I don't really keep up with composing artist stuff. I can tell you this is from what movie or what game. But like so the biopic this this artist is that's based on this artist. I don't know who this guy is before I watched it.
Pharrell.
Yeah, Pharrell. And I didn't know who Pharrell was. But like, I thought it was like the idea of a Lego biopic is interesting. But like as you know, seeing the movie
in execution,
it's I honestly think it's just kind of worthless. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's great. But like here's the thing. I like biopics. But like I like ones that like have an interesting story to them. Or it's like, you know, it's
substance.
Yeah, substance. This is just like this is just like a kind of like there's not a connecting story with the life. It's just about the life of Pharrell. And it's just like this part of his career, this part of his career, this part of his career, this part of his career. There wasn't really much like real conflict. it's mostly like it's just mostly like different points of like how he started with an interest in music, how he like got to like a career point where he was famous, and how he like was handling music throughout different points of career. I think the only conflict was his grandmother died, and he stopped making music for like 3 years, but then came back. Not really much of a exciting story, because even without the Lego stuff, it wouldn't be that much of an exciting biopic. I mean, but the movie itself, it looks really nice. I love the Lego aesthetic. I knew what this was going in, so I wasn't thinking it was going to be like anything like the Lego movie or the Lego Batman movie. I thought the idea of like a animated biopic in general is interesting. What it kind of reminds me of is like, because we kind of just have animated biopics all over YouTube where they're called, YouTube Storytime animators. I mean, you've watched some of these videos before, right, Brian?
Absolutely.
Yeah, where it's like they talk about a story that's in their life, and then they like animate it. They have drawings animating to that story. And
with drawings, you can over-exaggerate, you can go beyond, you can do a lot with that.
This movie definitely does that. Well, he could tell a story, and that story will be animated through Legos.
Right.
Another gimmick is, like, what this movie is, everybody they interview, and everybody they talk to, and everybody who does voices, they are not aware that it's a Lego movie. So, it's like they did all these interviews and stuff, and then they animated them into Lego later, and they didn't tell everybody it was a Lego movie.
That's pretty cool, actually.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But like I mean, if you're probably already a fan of Terrell, or you're a fan of like the music, because this one was also informative to me, because I didn't know like this one person was behind all these songs I heard in the past.
Right.
I mean, it's also interesting when you get to like when you see like how he helped develop songs like I'm familiar with. But like, I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't have that much of an interest in music. I don't have much of an interest in Pharrell. I don't think this for a story out of a biopic is that interesting. But I mean, it's nice to look at. But like, I mean, I'm gonna be real. I was kind of snoozing. I was kind of like trying to fight myself from falling asleep a couple times. But like, it's just okay. I think only if you're a fan of this stuff, you'll probably get an enjoyment of this.
Cool.
But if you want like a Lego, also if you want a movie that makes use of Lego, like that's a good Lego movie. I mean, you got Warner Brothers. When Warner Brothers had the license, they had plenty of other ones. The reason this does exist is because Universal had the rights to they got the rights to the Lego IP, because Warner Brothers kind of fumbled with the Lego Movie 2, and they're trying to think of ideas like many of ideas what to do with Lego, and they're like, we gotta do something. So I guess like somehow they fell on this, and they try to justify it in the movie itself, that's obviously fake. Where it's like, I want to do all in Lego, because it's about how I'm constructing everything piece by piece.
Just
and realistically, no, they're just like, you want to put those in Lego because we gotta do something with this fucking IP.
We're running out of time. So
yeah.
I think the one thing about this film is like, I'm glad you saw it, because again, we both said this when we first saw the trailers to it. At whatever point we had seen the trailers to them, like, this was the reason, really? You wanted to do this with Lego? But it makes less sense that it's because he wanted to, and more that we have this. Basically, it's like, oh, we have this resource. You can use this resource. I think that's how, like you said before, that's how it went down.
And I think those ideas they were working with. I think you had like a list of Lego movies they're trying to do anyway.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, like it's this is a film that hopefully doesn't dissuade Universal from putting their full backing into Lego, but we'll see how that goes in the future.
Technically, it is animated, but like I don't even gonna put this in my ranking of top animated movies.
Yeah.
Of anime, but like I don't think I can count it as anime. It doesn't, like, it's weird.
No.
If it gets fucking nominated for like at the Oscars, I'm gonna catch a fit, man.
That would be insane of all the options we have this year. So
the only Lego movie to get fucking nominated at the Oscars too. I'll be fucking pissed.
That would be so weird. All right. Next up.
Piece by piece.
Next up, Mark, back to you again. Nightmare Before
We
Christmas.
can both talk about this. You've seen this shit. If you have not seen this shit, I'll beat the fuck out of you right now.
From Touchstone Pictures. 'Twas the night before Christmas, but in the land of Halloween, it was decided that this year something new would be seen.
Surprised, aren't you?
From Tim Burton, director of Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands, comes a motion picture experience unlike any other. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
And what did Santa bring you, honey?
Rated PG. Coming this month to a theater near you.
So tell me, why are we talking The Nightmare?
I saw it in theaters. It got gets I think it's re-released every year. And it's in 3D, and it's good shit. Like I like that, like Jack Skellington. He's like the top shit, but like he's a top dog, but he's also very humble. He's just depressed about like, fucking Halloween's boring as fuck. I've been doing this for forever. I want something new.
Right. Let's shake it up a little.
Yeah, I just like how weird this movie is, and this world is weird, and it's not like it's a Christmas movie that's like not too like too feely or like too
you're not getting the jingles
sentimental.
In your soul. Yeah, you're not getting the jingles in your soul.
Yeah, it's not too sentimental. When they get Santa Claus, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Let me go! What the hell is this?" And like when they fix everything at the end, he's just begrudgingly like, "Of course I can do it better. Let me just fix like all your mess."
I think I'm more impressed. Now this is obviously a very historically special and significant film. Again, but it is impressive how much more of a cult status, not just cult status, but now it is one of the standard films that people talk about every year when it comes around when it comes to Halloween through Christmas. This movie gets put on that list just because of how significant it's become. Obviously now Disney sees that value, which is why now it's not Tim Burton's, it's now Disney Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, because as you mentioned before when we were talking about, I believe that was leading up to our Paranorman conversation, they did not want to tag the Disney logo on this stuff. They were distant from it.
This was fucking Touchstone production. Touchstone Pictures.
They're like, Touchstone, the brand that we kind of don't want to associate anything with too much. We're going to go ahead and let them distribute this, and we'll still obviously be the back end, but no one's going to know it's really Disney. And then it became a hit worldwide, and like, this is Disney's! We did this! This is Disney! Look at the passionate content we output. It's always up.
We had faith in this the whole time.
Yeah, but was it cool to watch in theaters? I'm sure that's fun just to go back.
It was nice to watch in theaters. The 3D didn't do much I think like my favorite movie I saw that's been remastered in 3D was seeing Monsters Inc. in 3D in 2014. Yeah. I feel so. This is around the time I didn't have much money to start my own income, but like it sucks that I missed Finding Nemo in 3D in theaters.
Hey man, I was just a lot when
I had the 3D Blu-ray, but it's not the same.
Yeah, man, broke era. Both of us broke era. That sucked. That sucked back then. Yeah. We
left that era? What?
Thank God. I mean, we're a little better.
Did we?
We're not. Yeah.
We have our own income.
We're a little better off at this point. We're not.
Like the economy's getting worse. We're probably going back to that
6 months from now. Mark, remember when I said we're out of Brook? Fuck. Oh no. All right. Next one up.
We've only got 24 hours to bring back the rest of Dad.
Oh, he's just legs. Put it in O for Onward.
Get him! Whatever it takes, I am gonna meet my dad.
Disney and Pixar's Onward. Rated PG.
I'm gonna go ahead and talk Onward. This was my
more like Offward. Am I right?
Right. So, one of the things about this film, I really wanted to talk about this because again, I saw it with my sister at the middle of November, and I was just like, oh, might as well. Why not?
Alamo Crack House.
And again, like I totally forgot how, like, again, there's even though when this came out, it's like no, it wasn't like that well remembered. It was right before COVID, and obviously then Sonic 2 at the same time. So just this,
Sonic 1, sorry.
So there was this double whammy of people were excited about Sonic, especially after all the fanfare, it getting fixed, and then Onward just coming out right around that timeline, and it just did not make money. COVID doubled down on failing it, and Sonic just ate its lunch, as you mentioned. So, but I think there's just some great stuff in this film. Notably, you get the chemistry, this great chemistry between the voice cast of Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. I think when you talk about coming off of the Avengers run there, and you see them for a little bit, I think that, again, it's cool that you do get those actors doing some, like, you know, they are just themselves, basically, but it is still, like, this believable chemistry between these two as brothers. I think the journey is interesting, and you're getting more and more about these characters, and with the father, that's kind of half-built there, but I understand that the core point of the movie is that the younger brother has learned enough, and a lot of the fatherly things he learned from his older brother, but I still think that falls apart because you still want the younger brother to at least get a chance to see his dad. And I think that that's the big flaw of this movie is they want you to believe, oh, it's going to be fine, that he doesn't get to see him, and that he's more wholesome in doing so. Because, of course, the older brother has that trauma of losing the dad and actually knowing him, and so he deserves to see him. But I think that both of them deserve to see him. Yeah. And I think the movie does a disservice to even the audience, more importantly. It is a very annoying. Once you know the ending, it is tough to actually want to finish it because you know that he doesn't actually get what he wants in the end. And that real, like, he becomes a better person by the end, but it sucks.
You can still learn the same lesson, but, like, still see him. Like, you can just make a fictional loophole, but like, oh no, I get extra time because of your love, or some shit like that.
Exactly.
Even if it's corny, it doesn't, like, just satisfy the audience, man.
Oh my God.
I mean, the idea sounds good on paper, just execution is not really that interesting, because, like, it's a world of magic, and then they discover electricity, and they just abandon magic. And it just becomes a regular world, but there's magic that still exists. I think there could have been, like, better plot lines with this.
Yes.
I mean, this was like a episodic show where it's like, and it's not even about the main character, it's about the society itself and how magic is creeping back into this world, and, like, they're trying to figure out how to handle it.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Absolutely.
Because just a magic terrorist attack just happens at the end of this movie, and it's just kind of like nothing becomes of it.
Exactly. Like, everyone's supposed to just go back to normal, even though, like, you've got these super magical things going on. And again, like, yeah, I feel you. Like, it's a setting that could be rolled. That could be built more on, and instead you kind of do this journey story, which isn't bad, but it's like, it's only a corner of what I'd like to see in this world. I do want to mention, by the way, before we go any, so what I realized, I had not included this. I just wrote this in my notes. I hadn't included this before, but if you exclude sequels, and you like do not include Lightyear, since Inside Out 1, Pixar's core storytelling focus has been on coming of age, adolescent, and sense of self stories, along with family dynamic stories. So, like, from Inside Out 1, you've had Inside Out, Coco, Onward, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, Elemental, and Inside Out 2. They all kind of focus on that. And I'm not saying it's tiring. I think some movies obviously handle it better than others. But that's the thread line. Like, I noticed that post-Soul, notably from post-Soul up to Inside Out 2, we've definitely gotten that a lot. But it had started even as far back. It's like Onward and Inside Out, obviously. So Pixar, once they had switched creative teams, creative leadership was definitely leaning in that direction. And this is one of the earlier ones where you wanted that sort of family dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else? Because
this is like a kind of a DreamWorks, this kind of type of decision movie where it's like, hey, we're gonna make an anime movie based around live action actors.
That too, yeah. That's the other thing.
I guess
because they usually don't care that much.
Yeah, because like Tim Allen and Tom Hanks were chosen because they were fitting,
but that's not also because the first movie. Like,
yeah,
you know, like a little bit different there.
Yeah, that's the only example I can think of, though.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
But I say Chris Pratt is decent in his role. Like, I wish they would, like, use him more. I think they would use him more. I wish they would use him more for more animated movies. He doesn't get cast all that much. Like, he deserves to be, like maybe in a video game movie at least. Or how about you, like, what if he was like a fat cat? That'd be funny.
That'd be great. I think none of us saw what was coming, like, this far down the pike with, like, how far he would be cast and everything.
The Adventures of Star-Lord and Peter Parker. I wanted to know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next up, Mark, lead us in Coco.
Coco, hot Coco.
Coco is the nation's #1 movie.
In spite, it's the hot ticket.
It's smart, funny, the best movie of the year. One of Pixar's greatest triumphs. Disney Pixar's Coco. Experience it in IMAX. Rated PG.
It's so refreshing seeing this movie without the fucking bummer that is Olaf's Frozen Adventure. Because that short sucked. It okay, this before that was before I watched anything Frozen, so I had no
no bearing on
or like nostalgia, not nostalgia, like fucking
connection to the universe.
Connection to Frozen.
Yeah.
So I wasn't excited about seeing the new Frozen thing. I saw Frozen later after that, and I enjoyed it. But I was like, when that came out, I was like, oh, it's just a 5-minute short. All right. And it kept going, and the songs are not good. These are like some bad fucking songs, and Olaf was fucking annoying, and I was just like cringing and facepalming the whole way. And it's the most memorable part of that experience because I hate it so much. I was filled with so much fucking hate. Even though this movie is fucking good as shit, my takeaway is I fucking hate Olaf's Frozen Adventure.
Coco.
And that was the only time I saw Coco, and it got re-released in theaters recently, and like, hey, this I remember this being a good movie. I'll rewatch it again. Actually, like, now without the hatred that is Olaf's Frozen Adventure, this is a very fun movie.
Yes.
Because my memory of this movie was like, this has like fun skeleton design. So also like because I was praising Soul for its like human designs, but like these are like good human designs in this movie as well.
Oh yeah, this was the precursor before that, where it's like, wow, look how good Pixar's gotten. Like you see this movie,
and like they're not realistic or they're not like DreamWorks generic humans. They're like fun, like fun shaped, like well designed like humans, like cartoony, but not.
Because the one thing with this film is like, you really have to up the expressiveness more than ever. And you can tell that Pixar, just like when we talked about with Cars and its development of how do we get these things right, they really thought about how can we, when we have characters, sorry, I didn't realize how off this would be. I didn't know that, like, how, you can tell, it's like, how much can we have these characters be fluid in their movements? How much can we have life in their eyes now? And sort of really show emotion more than ever through these characters, and you see that more than ever in Pixar, because Inside Out has that a bit, but you still have these character models that look like classic Pixar, or not classic, but you know what I mean, like, they're still based, it's still kind of from the past, but this is the first time where you really get characters where, you know, again, different skin tones, different color palettes in the world around them, settings different than normal, and there's so much more life and expressiveness in the way that characters move, whether they're just walking in certain ways, whether they're just like, you know, there's a hitch in one of the character steps here. Like it's so unique in the way that it does that, and that's why it broke so much ground for Pixar at the time, and why it's still one of the best Pixar movies ever made. Yeah. Like, holy cow.
The movies have clear rules, and I like the rules. They make sense. I also love that's the stupid dog like comic relief character.
Yeah.
This is still a very fun movie, and it's like definitely one of Pixar's best. Could be like I think I would put this in my top 10. Where in my top 10 I don't know, but I definitely would. It has a spot in my top 10.
Fair.
In my updated Pixar list.
Booyah. All right, but I think we wrapped up on Coco. Do you have anything else to say about it?
Coco's an interesting character on Fox's Home for Imaginary Friends. It's a bird that says
I'll give you pointless sayings for 1,200, Alex. All right, moving up. Family Guy Hulu special. This was meant to be an exclusive Halloween special. Supposed to be sort of a big deal. They really marketed this as if it was a bigger deal. And Mark, I'll tell you what. I'll start this off. This was very much. It's modern Family Guy.
It's a decent episode. I think, well, Modern Family Guy is like what I feel about any, like, show that was, like, running for this long. It's just hit and miss. Same thing I feel about Simpsons. Hit and miss.
Yeah, I think there could have been a little more put into this. But again, Family Guy's been running for so long that I kind of understand that they didn't need to put anything really into it. It's like...
Okay, go ahead.
I like when you deal with things that deal with, notably Stewie, Brian. Notably Stewie's world. You have Rupert, Stewie... Brian involved a little bit. Like, you could have done a little more with this, cooked it a little more, had it a little more fascinating, and instead what you do is, it's just, like, fine, nothing special, nothing unique here. Like, it's like, all right, we're going to do this with this movie, that with that movie. I understand it's a Halloween thing, but even the stuff with Peter Griffin and the pumpkin guy, it's like, there were funny moments with the fact that, like, Bonnie's clearly fucking the other pumpkin guy, and, like, whatever, but...
Joe's always getting cucked.
And Joe's...
That's a running joke.
But it's... Like, I left this feeling like, oh yeah, that's why I don't watch Family Guy as much anymore.
I pick and choose episodes. I don't keep up with it, like I do with The Simpsons. But, like, it's fine. I didn't have, like, high expectations for it, but, like, it was, like, it could have been, like, a little bit more bombastic for, like, as much as they're advertising it. But, like, I was like, fine episode. It was cute, but, like, it wasn't really all that funny. But I didn't hate it. Like, it was just fine.
Right.
That's how I feel about, like, a lot of, like modern Family Guy episodes. It's just, like, this was, like, a in between hit and miss. It was whatever. Like, I do like some aspects of Modern Family Guy. There's, like, a couple episodes I do like. I think, like, an episode I really liked that was recent was, Peter got, like, a cabin with, like, the, all the, his friends and family, and they had to, like, put it together and stuff. It was a fun episode. I like the episode that deals with, like, the entire family working together.
Right.
Like, that's why I chose when we did the cartoon chat, I chose the episode when they all had to go to the Blockbuster. Because I like when they actually write the entire family, like, bouncing off each other and trying to act like a family.
Agreed.
That's fun.
Yeah. Again, check that out. Cartoon Chat, Family Guy. I think that was episode 30 something at this point. So yeah, go ahead and check that.
But I can say the better thing about that came out of this special was the Hot Wings episode with Peter Griffin that was meant to advertise the special. That was better than this episode.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That was funny.
You saw that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking gold. A+. All right. Let's go ahead and we're gonna shift over from animation to drama. Mark's gonna tell us about
Total Drama Island?
About the best movie of the year.
No!
It's time for Megalopolis.
With your eyes closed, walk into the future. I don't get it.
You will.
Here is my plan to create a utopia.
Megalopolis.
People don't need dreams.
People need help now.
Bingo.
We're in need of a great debate about the future.
We are here, and we are taking our country back.
Megalopolis. Rated R, September
This was a
27th.
movie that looked absolutely bombastic. This is usually one of my movies that I would go see, but I had no interest because it looked like it was going to be a long.
You were going to go see? All right, I can run it right now. We can just pause the recording.
That's awesome, Mark. Go ahead and not do that. Mark, tell us about Megalopolis.
I love this movie. This movie is fantastic. I mean, I think it's better than Look Back. Way better than Look Back. And Robot. Oh, fuck. My fucking panel turned off. They can't turn to your face. Where? Brian! Brian! But, this is, like, stupid. I knew this was going to be stupid. I knew this looked bad. I was just curious of how much of a mess it is. And this movie is so goddamn messy. Like, holy shit. It's like, nothing is so coherent. It's like, there's, like, plot everywhere. And it's
on the walls.
It's trying to be so artsy. So hard. And it's just so stupid. But at some points, it's just so camp. And it's like, Shia, I forgot the lady's actor's name, but, like, there's this lady trying to seduce Shia LaBeouf's character, and he's like, call me mommy. Yes! No, call me auntie. Yes, auntie! And he's like, trying to seduce him to have sex with him, and it's like, what is, and he's like, trying to make him eat between her legs. It's like, what is that? It's her pussy. And it's like, no, what is that? So stupid. This movie's so fucking weird.
It sounds like an award-winning film right there.
But
like they won all the awards.
I saw this at like our artsy theater, the Charles Theater, and like there was a couple of people there. It was a very small theater room. and a few people in there, but like, you know, we were laughing at the movie ironically. We all gave it an ironic clap. We were in it. We were just, like, everyone was there for the irony. To enjoy this movie ironically.
Crazy.
So, like, yeah, because everyone knew it was just going to be a mess. And, like, I even had a fun conversation with a dude, like how, you know, how it was fun ironically. So it's interesting. It's interesting to I don't regret seeing this movie because the conversation of it is interesting, especially, like, listening to all these podcasts of people trying to make sense of it.
That's like, that you reminded me of when I walked out of Indiana Jones 4 and or 5, and there was this old I'd watched that movie, walked out of the Harbor East Cinemas, and this old guy, we were walking out at the same time. I went to the bathroom, then I came out. He must have been waiting for his wife or something, and I was like, "That was a movie, huh?" He was like, "Yeah, that shit sucked," and I was like, "Oh yeah." Now we're opening it up. Yeah, might as well say, yeah, that was terrible. Dude.
I know. Every time I talk to a stranger, I'm prepared for them to like that movie.
Exactly, because you don't know. You want to softball it before you know.
Because casual people, because like, with every blockbuster that just like has explosions and action and shit, every casual person like likes that movie. Like, I have a guy at work that like every fucking slot that comes out there.
Yep.
And like, because he always comes in like, hey, you seen that Morty? It was good, huh? You saw that fucking Fast X? That movie was awesome. You're like, oh, dude, I heard they're making a Craven movie. That movie's gonna be that Craven movie looking good.
It's like, bro, you haven't heard anything, but calm the fuck down. But that's casual.
Yeah, I remember I was in line with like I was in line doing plasma with a guy, and like, you saw that Venom 3? It was good, wasn't it? And I just like, I don't for that shit. I don't like, give my actual opinions. I just give agreeable confirmation response. Like, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else about Megalopolis?
Yeah, stay tuned. Me and Brian are gonna do a more in-depth conversation about it because he's gonna watch it.
Next!
Alright.
Alright, this is my choice here, or not my choice, this is a movie I ended up seeing. It's called Here.
Where?
Here.
Where?
Exactly. So this
there?
is actually... Yes.
Dad, I'd like you to meet Margaret.
Nice to meet you, Margaret.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Young. The baby's coming! Right now!
Now pronounce you man and wife.
Oh my gosh.
I can't take my eyes off of you.
It's just that I put things off.
Time sure does fly, doesn't it?
Sure does. You will have an adventure. And what an adventure it has been.
Here, in theaters November 1st, rated PG-13.
So, this is actually directed by Robert Zemeckis. This guy, look, he directed the Back to the Future trilogy. He directed Forrest Gump, Contact, Polar Express, right? Like, these are films that have been iconic to the American sort of lexicon. People know about those films. They have traveled throughout the decades, and they have stood the test of time. And in this film, it does not center on a particular person, really, but just a single setting. You get this one specific point in time, or not specific point in time, this one location, and you're traveling through time. And I have some notes here, but I'm going to have to go on them. Look, like, again, there's no character focus here. If there are, like, there's kind of some here and there. Like, for instance, like, you get the Young family. That's what their names are. They're the Young family, right? Like, and like they're played by guys like Paul Bettany and Kelly Riley, and then Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. Like, you see the progression of this mid-century. You get two generations of this mid-century family growing, aging, and then the next family comes in growing, aging. But between that, or before and after that, you get these little moments here and there of time before they were in the house and time after they were in the house. And I think, like, I love the progression. I love this type of stuff. I love the time. I love movies that kind of show this sort of sci-fi, technical, historical element. It's very impressive.
No joke. I think I like Challengers. The way, like, shows the characters like before they met, and like in the middle of why they met, and then like goes through like their life like that.
Yeah, and you get all the way to the end of, like, the two generation families. You get to the end of both of those, basically. Like, you go from where you meet them when Tom Hanks is a kid. Now, he's not Tom Hanks when he's a kid, but, like, the de-aging tech is very well done from about 20 up. When they're trying to play teenagers and you hear the Tom Hanks voice and you hear Robin Wright's voice, or Robin Wright as it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because
like young Indiana Jones sounding so fucking old at the beginning of 4.
Yeah. Now, it sounds a little better than that, but it's still same deal, same issue. And, again, like there's a point, like, again, like, the whole thing with this movie is it wants to connect you with, like, the aging moments. Like, you get moments where, like, these characters age, and it's like, oh, that's just life. And it wants you to connect with that. But because you're kind of jumping back and forth, and it's not all the time, but you're jumping enough that you're not getting enough concentration that you should have. Like, and from that point, you're not really connecting with the characters. You're more relating to those characters because you've had a life moment that relates to that. But you're not relating to them because of what the story has shown you. So, like, when they age and one of the characters gets dementia and one of the characters dies or one of the characters goes through a certain situation and they're depressed, it's like, yeah, those are relatable moments as a human. This is, like, this would be great. Like, this movie just has, it's a great tech demo. That's what I'll call it. It's kind of like when Rey went down into that fucking area of water and she started, like, visualizing herself and, like, different versions of herself and all that shit. It's like, this progression thing where you start, by the way...
Rey
like,
from Star Wars?
Yeah, Rey from Star Wars.
Okay.
But, like, you start... You don't need, like, the ideas are cool, but you don't need to start at the age of the fucking dinosaurs, and we don't need to know anything else beyond this 2-generation family. I think if you are able to extend out this 2-generation family story, you get a little more context. That becomes a very timeless movie. But instead, you get this, like, what I will say is a tech demo that would fit better, no joke, in the middle. Like, this would be the type of, like, parts of this movie are perfect for, like, a national American history museum, because you get one shot of different points in time of a colonial house in New England, America. And that's cool, but, like, that's it. It's a great tech demo. Like, that's what it's doing. It's a great tech demo. It does not do anything, like, with its cast, it does some things, but you're just moving through the motions and you know what's going to happen. And again, everything else becomes secondary, and, yeah, like, it's cool, but it's not a movie that you need to... I mean, it's not even in theaters. The reason it lost money is, I think, it just kind of strings along in a way that doesn't need to.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about, maybe I'll go see this movie, but then I saw the lowest, like, scores on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, maybe not.
Yeah,
I was surprised you were going to go see it, and I was like, oh, that movie got, like, low scores.
Again, the Zemeckis thing is he's legendary. Like, he's legendary with his... Like, in Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, Polar Express, like, these are movies that are so iconic. When he gets it right, he gets it right. Here, it has no direction.
Roger Ribbit.
Yeah, like, here, there's...
My favorite movie ever.
Right, that there too. Like, when he gets it right, he gets it right. But this is directionless, except for the fact that it follows a time, like, one point in time. And I think this idea works better, no joke, as a VR experience. That's what this should have been. It just should have been, like, 20 minutes of VR experience through a colonial house in America. The end. Like, that's what this should have been. Also, this could have just been a play that costs way less money because you're in one setting. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, just watch Marcy's Moms. That's Zemeckis' best movie.
Next up. Mark, tell me about Saturday Night.
We go live in less than 90 minutes.
And action!
I heard you were having some technical difficulties.
Minor issues. That's pretty normal right before a live show.
We're gonna stick to the script.
What script? Belushi hasn't signed his contract yet.
Oh, is this an ensemble?
We're doing the show?
Of course we're doing the show. I don't have time for this.
I'm sure you have it all under control.
Hugh Belushi.
Hugh John!
Where's John Belushi?
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Rated R. Exclusively.
Saturday Night. This was a fun movie that Brian needs to watch. Say he didn't watch it. Why you're not? Are you gonna watch it at some point?
Probably.
You should just do it.
I should.
All right. But, like, this is about, like, it's not like a biopic or anything. This is about, like, how they get everything together 90 minutes before they have to air. And the pressure is, if things don't go right, they're just going to replay the, what was the other show?
Some classic
Tonight
series.
No, Tonight Show. Colbert?
No, Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
They're just gonna rerun Johnny Carson again. And like, you know, we see all these things going wrong. So some of these are true events. Just like it didn't happen in one night. It just happened within a month of all these things going wrong. During the set of Saturday Night Live. But like, you know, like it's fun and it's also real time. This movie feels quick. And like what I did homework as in like I went to Peacock and I watched the very first episode of Saturday Night Live. Which is it shows how humor has aged because I'm so used to jokes are like quick and like I guess just like modern humor is like, I guess that 70s humor is just like so dry and I don't know,
it's paceless.
It's paceless.
Yeah.
So like watching that first episode was pretty awkward.
Yeah.
But like you see all the bits they set up within this movie. So like it's more rewarding if you watch that first episode of Saturday Night Live and you just like see everything they're like all the bits they're setting up and stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I really recommend you should watch this. We probably do a longer discussion after you do so.
Sounds like a plan.
Hey, man. I know you. What's your name?
Edward?
Do you work for Facebook?
No, but I get this a lot.
Oh, hey, neighbor. People can be cruel, I imagine.
All unhappiness in life comes from not accepting what is. You don't talk to me that? Lady Gaga.
Back to you again.
Different Man, another movie I recommend Brian to watch. This is a fun character study about a guy who was like born with a disfigured face, and he's just doesn't have much confidence in his own life, he gets these doctors provide him with a drug that makes his skin peel off, and he gets like a normal face,
right.
And he's just like a new handsome guy. So he just like makes a new life for himself. Meanwhile, another guy comes into his life with his same disfigurement, and he's like just handling life way better. His life handling way better than he used to, and he just kind of just gets jealous, and he kind of just goes crazy at a certain point, and he just like kind of things just sort of escalate to like a shocking turn, and it's like and it's such a fascinating character study, and it's like you just following this whole you're following the main character around the whole time through his like life, and it's just like it's just an interesting movie. I do recommend this one. I don't think this was playing in like national theaters. I only had to see this at like our artsy theater.
Cool beans. And that was Sebastian Stan actually under all that.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Oh yeah, this is some very really impressive prosthetics.
All right, moving on. Mark, I'm gonna. Well, I'll be honest with you. The next three are all you as well, so it's gonna be.
You haven't seen shit. You don't watch shit.
I know.
It's probably gonna be like every fucking wrap-up, honestly.
Indeed, because I have the time for it. Mark, tell me about the movie that
you say you have the time for it?
Yeah, if I have the time for it, which I likely won't. So The Substance, Mark, tell us.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself? Younger, more beautiful, more perfect.
There's been a slight misuse of the substance.
Let's go.
Probably like one of my favorite horror movies from this decade so far. This is an interesting movie where it's about like a failing an actress who like is like just not because she's getting older and she's not in her heyday. They're like her studio is trying to replace her because she's like she's the lead in like a fitness program.
Yeah.
And like because she's getting older, like they don't want her anymore and nobody wants her anymore. So this drug is offered to her called Substance, where it's a better you, and like what happens is when she just like caves in and takes it, and a younger clone of her is like growing out of her, and it's. I mean, if you, by the way, this is a horror, but also it's a body horror. You can't deal with like body stuff. Woo! That sequence when like, because she like grows out of her back, and there's like a lot more of that came from. This movie can get gory, it gets sexual, so much imagery everywhere, bloody, but it's all fantastic. Like it's. Cause I love it. But I love this. The movie has such great tension because the rules like make so much sense. Because it's like I like the way the rules work. So the clone has to like, in order to like be stable, it has to take fluids from the body. Because also it's only one. They have to share consciousness. So if one has to be put to sleep. And while the other can be conscious, they can't be conscious at the same time. Okay. And they have the same brain, they have the same person, but they are of different consciousness. So it's like a kind of dividing timeline. So, like the younger self has all the memories of the other clone leading up to that, but whatever they experience, she only experiences, and she's just like. And the original is just like out cold. It's just blacked out until they have to, because they have to switch out every 7 days. Right. And they have to, she has to take, the clone has to take fluids from the body once a day, for only a week. And after that, they have to switch consciousness so the fluids can regenerate. And while the regular clone is like consciousness, they're kind of like living their life as being rejected, and the clone is living her life is like, because she's young, she's a new it girl, like everybody it just keeps promoting her, and and she's like getting high up in her job and stuff, and it's like it's making the other clone jealous, and like there's some, yeah, and like at a certain point like they kind of like they stop following the rules, and like both of them kind of start messing each other up, and the tension becomes like even more like clutch, or like once like it just like the more they keep breaking those rules, right? And it just gets, the ending of this movie just gets insane. Jeez. I think you gotta man up and just take this movie. This movie's great, man.
Man, go fuck yourself.
Why?
I'm not saying I'm scared of the movie. I'm just saying like I had no interest in seeing it. And even though I said, oh, maybe I'll see it, I just didn't have the fucking time. I'm not saying I wasn't scared of it. I'm just saying,
I thought you just couldn't take, like, bloody body horror and shit.
No, I mean...
Because like, I can't recommend this movie because not everybody can take this type of shit. It does get, like... Oh, it does get gory, and it does get cringy. Like, even I at some points, I was screaming, it's like...
Jeez. Alright.
Fantastic movie, though. It's one of my top movies of this year.
Nice. Good to know. Top, guys. He's tracking on it. Next.
Smile 2 is the scariest movie of the year by a mile. It ups the ante in every way. It's a terrifying masterpiece. Smile 2, rated R.
Last one before the backlog, Smile 2. Mark, how did that one go? That was another big one for this autumn season.
Okay, so I watched Smile 1 before this as well. So I've only seen the Smile movies in the same week. I remember when I first saw the trailer, the first Smile, I'm like, this movie looks so fucking stupid. Everyone's gonna hate it. This movie's gonna fail. And like, the movie did well, and it's getting a lot of good reviews. And I'm like, those trailers make it look so stupid and cheap. And like, and I just never cared to watch it anyway. But then the sequel was coming out. I was liking the idea of this. When I saw the trailer to the sequel, I was like, oh, it's about a pop island. She's like dealing with all this horror shit. And it's like, that's an interesting concept. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna watch the first one so I can watch this. And like, so I saw the first one at home, and like it was on Hulu, and I enjoyed the first one. It's a really well made horror movie. It's just about like a kind of like demon who like kind of gets treated as a virus. If like you witness like somebody committing suicide, the demon follows you around, and it starts messing with your mind, probably having you doing some weird shit.
Right.
And you would just keep seeing weird shit until either one of two things. You have to kill somebody and they have to witness it, or if like once, or it would just like keep feeding off your fear until it will possess you and make you kill yourself in front of somebody so they can pass on.
Interesting. Okay. So
Very horrifying concept.
So that is a good lore. That is a good lore, though. I like that idea. As like sort of for a scary movie, I like that idea.
Yeah, and the second movie has a lot of fun with that rule, especially at the end.
Okay.
I mean, I can just talk about both movies as a whole. So this is for Smile 1 and 2.
Well, the backlog that's the first movie in the backlog. If you want to are you done with Smile 2, or you?
Yeah, we're just gonna be done with Smile as well. No, in general, I'm just gonna talk about Smile. We can just skip Smile when we get to the backlog.
Okay.
I just say about Smile, but like both Smile 1 and 2, very well. Smile 1 is a very well directed movie. It's a fun horror movie, and it's like I think the jump scares are done very well, and it does like it does do a good job of setting atmosphere.
Nice.
Smile 2 does well, everything I mentioned about Smile 1 does even better. And there's even a couple times where I got spooked, where like because I mean, movies don't really scare me, but like you can surprise me with certain imagery, and like some of the horror imagery in this movie did surprise me. The only thing, my only gripe with this movie is like I guess it's not really consistent to whether like if certain things are like a hallucination or real, and even it gets that to even by the very end I'm like, what was real and what wasn't. But even that, I mean, I'm just here for like the horror imagery and like the horror shit. And where it ends off, I'm very curious of what they're gonna do for Smile 3. I'm all in on this franchise now.
Oh, kick ass.
I remember like when I first saw the trailer to the first one, I was like, this movie's stupid. I'm never gonna see these stupid movies. It's not gonna make any money. And now here I am, like I'm set. I can't wait for Smile 3. Didn't think I'd get here.
Alrighty, there's the Smile franchise for now from Mark.
Hey, if you want to be spooked, I recommend you watch this too.
Okay. Still no intention on seeing this one. There's a few that you've recommended.
You like being spooked though? You like? Wait, what is your opinion?
I don't chase after it. So like, if I'm going to see it, it's like, all right, by recommendation, fine. But like, I'm not ever gonna be like, I really am gonna go after this to be spooked.
I only go after horror movies if they get like praise.
Oh.
I don't care for horror movies other way, but like if it's like well, first of all, it has to be a movie with an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an interesting concept, I go see it. If the movie doesn't have really have a concept I don't care about, I'll look it up to see if it has any good scoring. If it's like above an average, then it's like, okay, I like horror movies when they're done really good. I just like good cinema in general. But like if there's a horror movie that's really good, yeah, because there's a lot of fucking cheap, stupid horror movies out there.
Absolutely.
Like it's easy to make a bad horror movie.
Right. All right. Let's move into the final portion of this. This is the backlog.
You didn't put Tarzan up there? I watched Tarzan too.
You said what?
Oh yeah, never mind. I see it. Never mind.
Yeah. All right. Let me try that again. This for some reason it took a while. All right. Let's get into the backlog. All right. So that's just gonna continue to be kind of slow. That's fine. The backlog. This is sort of even briefer reviews. We're gonna run through these in a tight-knit format. Things that Mark was catching up on, but I can talk on a few of them. But we're just gonna talk briefly on.
Can we see most of this shit too?
So, I've seen 2 of these.
You've seen 3 of these.
The Simpsons thing, I only saw the first episode, so the
finale. We're just gonna talk. That's the only thing worth talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna talk about season 36.
I mean, it's not even done yet.
All right. So, Over the Garden Wall, Mark. We'll start with that.
If I told you there was a story.
Where are we?
From a forgotten place.
See anybody?
I see you.
Filled with shadows.
Something weird is going on.
And the unknown.
Yeah.
Where solving the puzzle only leads to dangers and greater discoveries. Would you be willing to take a peek? Over the Garden Wall, a 5-night mystery adventure. Beginning tonight at 7/6 Central, only from Cartoon Network.
This, for me, is one of the highlights of the 2010s resurge of Cartoon Network. It gets put under the radar, especially from Cartoon Network itself, who kind of ignored it for several years. And here they are back again, kind of caring about it as if they cared about it the entire time.
Got a stop motion short recently.
Got a stop motion short. I haven't seen that, but again, this short series, I think I've always loved it. I think it's a great journey. Yeah.
I think I've seen like an episode of it, and then like back then, and I never got a chance to finish it. And I was like it was on my back burner. Like I'll finish it eventually. Right. And then like when I remember it, it's like I'm only gonna watch this because like certain movies I missed that are seasonal. I'm like I'm gonna wait until that season to watch them. And it was like I missed my chance last year, and it was like fuck, it's past Halloween season, spooky season. So it's like I have to put on the burner for the next year. And I was like, no, I finally got to it this year, and I was like, shit, this is good. I like how odd and weird it is. Yes. And it just like, but it feels normal to Absolutely. To these characters in a way. It's just, and I just like seeing how everything progresses. Things just like you start to get more comfortable with the world and understanding of the world the more it keeps going.
Absolutely, you become more attached because you're in this world that has it's grounded to a degree, but it's like you are just as lost as they are, and so you obviously attach to those two characters. We're obviously following or focusing more on the older brother than the younger brother, but you start to see other characters like the bird character. It's like and her journey as well. It's like all of that becomes like very fascinating. The pumpkin episode's so interesting as well because you think of civilization and that turns like, you go on to the boat episode with the frogs. That's fascinating. Again, the way that
you don't know where these stories are going.
You just don't.
It's just weird, but like it has like a point to make.
And then the school episode, is just that's a fascinating one too, where you're just going into this psychological thing with the older brother, just like, all right, are you going to get out of this loop, or are you just going to stay in comfort land? Like, you need to wake up and face the music here. And again, like, I think that this is just a great short journey that didn't need to go longer at all. It's, again, one of their best works from Cartoon Network Studios, and I don't have anything else to say except I could watch this every year, and it'll be a cartoon chat eventually.
Yes.
But it's worthy of that stop motion treatment.
I don't want a sequel, but I need something else that's like this. I need a successor.
Yeah.
Kind of like how like Disney's been chasing a Gravity Falls successor forever, and they haven't hit the mark.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be Cartoon Network, but it needs to be like from somewhere that has a similar tone. Yeah, I agree. Solar Opposites. Tell me about season 3. Is that right?
We're on season 5. I'm just talking about the Halloween special.
Halloween special. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Fun Halloween special. I enjoyed it more than Family Guy.
Okay.
Oh
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Nothing more I can say about that. It was a fun Halloween special.
Cool.
You saw the first one, right?
The first season.
The first Halloween
special. First and second season. I don't recall if it was a Halloween episode in the second season or third one. It was the first Halloween episode. I don't remember.
I don't know. I think you should catch this show. Is the entirety of like the newest season. It's super solid. Just as good as it is. It's like I even like a lot of the side plots they got going on, where it's like the small people and they got another side plot that's really good. This show hasn't fallen off for me. If you already like this show, then it's still as good as it is. You just keep watching it.
Cool.
I really like this show, and I hope it just keeps. I hope it keeps going until they dry out.
Sounds like
they got a lot of juice. Same thing with like Rick and Morty, which is funny. Like another show Justin Roiland used to work on that he's not on anymore, but still good.
Yeah.
Like Rick and Morty's still good. Like the last season was solid. But it was it felt there's only like one bad episode out of the most recent season I didn't like, and it was like other than that, Yeah. But yeah. Solar Opposites is great.
Talking about Rick and Morty, the anime, tell me about it.
Watched the first 2 episodes while we were on our trip to Universal, which we would talk about the backlog. We'll talk about it another time.
So, yeah.
Probably fucking November wrap-up, whatever. But, like, Rick and Morty is funny. The American one. And I look forward to all the jokes. It's not that this show, it's not that this show's jokes don't really hit. It's that it just doesn't have jokes. And I can't tell this taking itself too seriously because it didn't seem like I don't know where the plot is going. Granted, I only watched the first 2 episodes, but like, and it feels like it's refusing to tell jokes.
Right.
I'm like expecting a joke somewhere, and it's like, no, we're not gonna tell a joke. We're just here. I'm like, it's kind of boring, honestly. I'm not enjoying these. I'm just like watching these 2 episodes. Like, what the fuck is going on? I'm gonna try to watch more of it. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe it gets better as it goes on. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's just like, why does this exist? This is definitely not written by the people who write the American shit. Why is this Rick and Morty? This doesn't feel like Rick and Morty. I don't know. I think you should watch this just so we can have a conversation about it. I think it's an interesting conversation to be had.
I think the whole thing with Rick and Morty, the anime, is like it was great as a joke, and I feel like a couple different executives thought, kind of like Morbius. It's like, ha, look at this. People are talking about it. Ha ha. Maybe we should do this, and they just didn't really have an idea of what to go toward, and they actually invested in it. And I feel like in the end, like it doesn't need to exist. So that's where I leave my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
You could do something interesting, but what we have is not interesting.
Time magazine proclaims a triumph. This is epic storytelling. Newsweek raves it packs an impressive cargo of laughs, thrills, and wonders. Tarzan. It's one of the best animated films of all time. Rated G. Now playing.
So, Tarzan. That's your next.
Son of a man in time.
Now, Tarzan marks the end of what people think of as the revenue-focused Renaissance timeline for Disney in the 90s.
It is.
And there's a lot of controversy. Like, it's a controversial decision. Don't have the man that doesn't speak well sing. Have his internal thoughts sing. I like Phil Collins. I think the music slaps in this movie.
Fuck it.
I think that it's
trust your heart. Let fate decide.
I think the one thing with this film is like it's a thing. It's just the reason people think like this is because if you grew up and let's say you were an 80s kid or a 90s kid, early 90s kid, and you grew up with all the Renaissance, and then you get this movie, yeah, it's not as good as the rest of the Renaissance, so that's why people were hitting on it more. If you come from Wish and fucking Raya and fucking all those shit movies that Disney has made in the past like 5 years, like, and you see this, it's like, oh my god, this is actually very good. You compare almost anything from Disney.
Yeah, like the reason I watch
it's just riches of the time versus like, oh, we didn't see like that. This is like still of the standard, basically. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
The reason I chose this movie because like I wanted to watch it because like we talked about it before. The intro to the show got stuck in my head. Yeah. That's an epic ass intro.
Absolutely.
And I was like, let me watch the show. Oh, it's not available on Disney Plus. Fuck, I gotta watch the movie. And I've only seen this movie in passing on Disney Channel when I was a kid. And I was like, yeah, I always thought it was a good movie. Now watching it as an adult, it's like, yeah, that's a fucking good movie. Like a really well made Disney movie. Very well animated. Again, I Phil Collins songs. That soundtrack slaps.
Yes.
And I love seeing they do a good job of animating like a realistic like 8-man.
Well, I mean, it feels like this was made for, no joke, the ladies, like, because like every muscle, every muscle fiber, every like curvaceous point on Tarzan is like animated like it was crafted with care. And
they do a good job of animating gravity in general with this.
Yeah, that too. And the swinging and like the swinging's so cool in that movie. Like the action sequences are legendary. Again, just looking back at it, it's like you just didn't realize, I think, if you grew up in that time period, you just don't realize when low quality is actually low quality. and that movie is not low quality. Like, that's not low quality.
I mean, in a weird, in a weird way.
Again, like in 5 years, you get Chicken Little, guys. Like, just context.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Chicken Little, I think the animatic to like the sequel released recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll show you it later.
Okay. Yeah, we'll check that out eventually.
But like, you know, if you look at the plot in a weird way, it is a redo of Pocahontas, where these English people like visit like a native land.
Yes.
And they're just trying to like take something from the native people or see it like, and like, there's a war between there becomes a war between them because they don't trust both sides don't trust each other as much, or one side doesn't really don't have trust in one side.
And don't forget there's a romance involved.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, I think Tarzan, again, like any movie that kind of got critiqued around this time period when Disney was still firing on all cylinders, or maybe like 9 out of 10 cylinders, you kind of look back at it like, oh, this was not actually trash. Like, again, like I think Atlantis is actually like after seeing it in the past couple of years, Atlantis is actually it's fun, but it's not even as close. Like it's not even close to as good as Tarzan. It's close maybe, but it's not as close as I thought.
I didn't really have that. I wasn't really enjoying Atlantis all much.
Yeah.
It was alright.
It was alright.
Yeah.
So
like where is Disney's like theme park love for Tarzan? Like you have all these characters in costumes and shit. Where's like the half-naked man on loincloth running around with little kids? Just like, hey kids, I'm Tarzan! He's like half-naked.
No, he doesn't speak in English. He just runs up to a kid, grabs him, and just runs off.
I can see his I can see his tape! Ah!
Tarzan, guys. The last one, since you talked Smile already, Simpsons. Simpsons. We talked about
the fake season finale. I like that. It was a fun season premiere. I thought that was a really fun episode. So as somebody who doesn't really keep up with this show, what did you think of the episode?
As someone that hasn't caught up, but you actually, again, it really helped that again over the past I'd say 3 to 5 years, notably since Disney Plus came out. You've kind of slowly shown me a few episodes since when I came over every once in a while. Here's a few episodes here. Here's a few episodes here. And it fills my reference point of Simpsons. I had a little bit of Simpsons references. I mean, I think all of us that are born in the mid to late 90s did grow up with the fact that Simpsons would always air on television.
I grew up with Family Guy more. I barely watched The Simpsons.
Well, the thing on like local broadcast television, you'd have Simpsons and then Family Guy. Notably here in Baltimore, you'd have it on 54. And that was like from 2000 to like 2010. You had Simpsons and then Family Guy back to back, and that would be every night, every evening at like 6. You'd have those two in the 6 o'clock hour, and so that did fill me up with like what Simpsons is. But like outside of that, it was there and gone.
And kind of roles are reversed because I wasn't that much into The Simpsons, but you showed me and like Kevin back in the day the Simpsons movie for the first time. And then, I don't know, just later, I guess, during the Disney Plus era, I just, started to become more into Simpsons. And, now I just hunt you down and snipe you with my Simpsons knowledge.
Yeah, you're like, you far exceeded any knowledge I had, whenever I did.
I remember we were playing a Jackbox game, and,
that was so ridiculous.
There was a team of, 3 of you guys on your team, and because we only had an even odd amount of players.
Yes.
So I had a team with, one other dude, and, we weren't on the winning end, but then they gave me the question, name all Simpsons character ages, and I'm like...
You might as well have called to fucking Jumanji. You just activated something.
Yahtzee!
Yeah. But what I will say, because we have to get through this briefly, but this was great in the way that, again, it makes fun of AI in a way that we've seen a little bit before, but it does it in a way that is still, I think, one of the better Simpsons episodes we've seen in a long time. You get so many great references. I love the fact that it's actually Conan O'Brien there, who was obviously so pivotal to, I believe, not mid. It's hard to say mid Simpsons because mid Simpsons is like 2000s.
It was
90s,
just early Simpsons,
like 90s, early 90s era. Simpsons.
He worked on it from the beginning, and then later he got his own show.
Yeah, and then he got the late night with Conan O'Brien.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was cool that he kind of carried along the journey, but then we get these scenarios through the show that re-reference different points of the Simpsons history, and I do enjoy that, and I love what they ended up coming up with in the end anyway. So yeah, it was a funny parody of those, a wrap up final episode. Yeah.
I'm really gonna miss this place. Yeah. But
lights up. Why do we keep turning
the
on the lights?
My favorite part is I love that moment of Bart just telling off Homer like he was blow out your candles, Bart, you blow it out, dumbass. And he was just telling Homer off, and that was just that was just a great character moment. That was just a fun character moment right there.
It was an absolutely honest character moment.
Yeah.
It's no, this is not you. That's not you. Let's be blunt about this. You guys this is bullshit.
And then it just builds up to people assume Homer wasn't allowed to strangle Bart anymore. And then it just builds up to Homer strangling Bart.
Yes.
And that just breaks the AI. And that was just I think that was a great ending.
It was.
But yeah, that was a very fun episode of The Simpsons.
Absolutely.
Very much highlight this is definitely a highlight of Modern Simpsons in general.
Definitely, yes. Of the 2020s of Simpsons, yeah, A+. Because you don't think of a lot of A+ for Simpsons. So right now, I'd put that at A+ for what Simpsons is right now.
Yes.
In terms of what it ever has been, but.
Oh, by the way, every once in a while, Simpsons will have Disney Plus shorts.
Yeah, I see those.
All of them suck.
It just stinks that they just kind of but they just it's kind of weird because they'll just toss it out and that's it.
And they're just short and they're just nothing.
Yeah.
And the jokes aren't funny. They all suck. If nobody needs to watch them.
No. So guys, that was the October backlog. And that wraps up our October wrap up. Mark, what do you think? Do you think we should call this should the name? I know you said you wanted to be October 2024. Do you want to just call it the whole thing backlog? I think it's a solid name. Or you could just call it wrap up, one or the other. But
I think just wrap up is just fine enough.
Yeah, because this segment, I only called this part backlog because again, it was just
that still works for this segment unless you want to split the videos. But I think it just as a whole.
This works. Okay,
yeah.
All right, guys, that was ScreenBlast Podcast. Guys, of course, you can find this and more over at screenblastpodcast.com. I am Brian the Baltimorean, right here, this guy. Hi. You can find me at athemocracy.com. You can find me again at ScreenBlast. And you can find that guy, Mark, where can they find you?
At K9 Biscuits, that's K9BISKUTS.com.
Alright, we wrapped it up. Guys, thank you for watching.
I want to get out of here. I want to go home.
Well, then say it.
Alright. Come on, Brian, we're going to watch Megalopolis. Line out, everybody!